Okay, so today we'll continue with the grid one. So grid is also considered as one of the features that we can use for making the website more responsive. Right? So during that time, we use a column and row to divide the portion of the website.
Okay.
So if we go through this particular website, the W3 schools, because this is the website that the Edexcel is suggests us to go through it. Okay, so
Okay.
the grid layout module offer a grid-based layout system. So there is one another option which is a flex one. There is grid and there is a flex, but in our syllabus we don't have anything that mention about the flex box. So we will not focus on this one. We will focus on the only on the grid one. Okay.
Okay.
The grid container is like similar like that. So they uses a row and the column, right? So in this way, the design some of the website. So suppose if I try this one and then I want to make it a smaller one, you can able to see the layout of the particular design are not breaking, right? When I'm just decreasing the width of the website.
Yeah.
This is one of the factor. But the thing is that it is quite harder to go it down. But when you use Flexbox is much more better and reliable compared to Grid actually. But like it's sometimes it's depend on the situation. Sometimes Flex is more better compared to Grid. But in my point of view, I think that compared to Grid, Flexbox is more suitable. Why? It's because some of the website they don't support not website, some of the browser they don't support Grid that much. They support Flexbox. Most of the websites support Flexbox compared to Grid. So do you understand what does it mean by
Oh,
support? Because sometimes, suppose you created one of the website, okay, then you have to run that particular website in both Android, iOS, as well as Windows browser, right? Even if you will get a something different about the design when you load the same website
yeah.
in Safari and also in normal Chrome, right? We will get the difference. Like some of the code are not supported in Safari browser. So this is one of the issues. Somewhere the grid layout is creating some problem, but I don't know about the latest one. Maybe in latest world they actually solved this out, but it's still now when you work in the company, they mostly prefer the Flexbox. Okay, so this is the difference. Then how the code is looks like, right? So if you look this one, they first of all they create a container, okay, and then inside a container they added all the div. So inside a container they added all the div here, and then if you just go here you can able to see they created a display grid like the way we add display block, right? Display inline similar like this way. This one you have to mention which is a display grid, and then the grid template column, so that one is auto means it is automatically taking the column, right? Then they provide a background color and the padding are there. So if I just copy that particular code in the coding in my VS code, then you can able to see how it looks like in a practical way. So first of all I just create a container like this way. So when I will run this particular code, you can able to see it looks like this. So how it looks like this, it looks like only 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? So but then I have to provide some of the CSS. So what I will do, I'll provide some style here, and then I will add a container because container is a class. So I will add container here, container, and then inside the container I want to add display, which is grid, right? Display grid, and then maybe I want to add Background color may be red. So there is nothing, right? Only a little a box out there, and one, two, three, four. So maybe I can add a padding here to see how it works. Still no improvement. So how about if I add a column template? So there is one of the CSS code which is related to grid. That one is called grid template column. Okay, and then if I add a auto, then if I save that particular thing, you can able to see it looks like this, right? One, two, three, similar like that.
Yeah.
But can you tell me if I want to provide a certain border for this particular div, what can I do? I just want to provide some of the border based on the div.
And to every div,
Yes, to every div, but not this one.
and then
With this, without this div, only this div.
the child,
How,
okay,
how can I do that?
a child selector,
Can you explain me how can I do that for that one?
div,
Div. Okay. So what we can do here, you can inside the container, right? So this container, and then we just inside this one, we can just directly write div here, right that way. So now if you
wow,
add the border, because this one is the easiest way, right? But still you can use some of the other features the way we learn, like the selector, right? The child or adjacent, something like that. But that one, if you forgot, because there is no requirement that you have to write it here by using that particular selector. If they mention, then that's a different thing. But they didn't mention anything, so I just add it like that way. So you can able to see it only take all the div which is inside the container. But if you want to follow some other method which is like the child selector and something like that, for that thing you have to first mention the container and then greater than and then div, similar like that. So this one also work the same way. But I think the way you mentioned, which is like I have to provide the div because this is the class. So I will take the class and inside the class I will provide the tag name and just put it there. So whatever will be easier for you, just follow that thing, right? So for the CSS, we can follow a different type of structures. It's up to you. Okay. So then I can provide the this one will be the background color. Then I can also provide a background color here as well, which is maybe this one. Yeah, so it is all take the background color which is inside the boxes, right?
yeah,
Now they have a different type of boxes here. So we learn about how we can able to structures based on a like hold the thing in a grid base, right? So when we use a grid base, it will give me a structures that will take the whole width, right? That one is called grid. But there is one thing which is can you can also use an inline grid. Inline grid will only take the space it needed. So for that things what we can do, just replace this grid to inline dash grid. So when we add inline grid, you can able to see it only take the space that needed. Is it clear?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this is the difference between grid and inline grid.
So inline will only take the required space.
Yeah, it's like a span, the way we learn similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, so inside the grid, what is called row and column. So when it comes from horizontally up to down, that one is considered as a column, and the row is considered as vertically, right? from left to right.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So now, if I just change it to the previous way, which is a grid, because it will be better to look. Okay, so this one is the grid one, right? So now I want to provide some of the space between these two grid, in a column wise. You can provide the grids gap based on column or without the column, right? It's up to you, or based on row. So for that thing, what you can do, we just provide here, which is like column gap, and then maybe you can add 10 pixel or whatever, so it will provide a gap. See, so when we add a column gap, that provide a gap based on the column, right?
Yeah.
Now the same thing you can also do for row gaps. Just replace the column name to row gap, save that particular thing, and then you can able to see the row gap is there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But suppose if you want to apply for both row and column 10 pixel, so what you will do, did you remember that we learned about the padding? So the same thing, just replace this one and then add gap, right? So when you add the gap, you have to provide 10 pixel, 10 pixel. So one will take left and right, other one will take up and down. So now, is it clear
Mm-hmm.
how we can able to?
Yes.
Okay. Now we will learn about okay, suppose the way we learn inside the table, it's like um, we can able to merge two of the table, right, in a column. Suppose in the question, if they ask you to add this two column one and two, to add this two column which is one and two, you have to add it. So how we can do that particular thing? So here we have to mention like which two item you want to merge, right? So that's why we have to provide a class name. So suppose I want to add one and two, this two div as a one column, or maybe yes, as a one column, because this two will come as a one column. So how we can do that? Or maybe yeah, this two, this one is a one column, right? So this two falls under two columns, so I want to just merge these two things the way we did in the ICT, right? So in the database we just merged two of the columns. So how we can do that in the grid system? So for that thing, we have to provide a class name. Sorry, class. Provide a class name. So here maybe I want to provide the name of that class, which is item one, and I will follow the same thing, and then I will just paste it here as a item two. Okay. After
Okay.
that, I will. This one is item one. This one is item two. Then I will add the item here. Item one is. I will take item. Okay, so I take item one. Then what I have to do, which is like grid column. Then you have to mention start, right? So where you want to start? Start from column one, and then where it should end. That one you also have to mention. So column, grid, column, and then end. So end maybe three. So if I look at this one, is there any difference? Yeah. So start at one. That means it will be start from here. So this one is considered as one. Then two, then
Okay.
three, right? So that's why start at one, end at three. Is it clear, Fahim, or I will repeat that one again?
Can you repeat it again?
Okay. So suppose if I just remove that particular one, okay. And then you're gonna able to see it looks like this, right? So what happened, you have to mention where you want to start, the starting of a column. So this is the start, right? And then we want to end. Where do you want to end? You have to count it down. So this is the one, this is the two, and this is the three. So it will start at, end at this column. So one. So that's why we add. First of all, we provide the class name, and then we add it like that way. So it will start at column. Grid column is start one, and grid column end three.
So it will take three columns.
Yes,
Oh,
not the three column. It will take two column. But this one is 1, this one is 2, and this one is 3. So when you count it as a line base, that one will give you a 3. 1,
okay.
2, and 3, right? Suppose my question is like, if I want to, suppose I just want to cut it down, okay? And then I want to merge this two particular ones. So how we can do that? If I want to extend this 2 and 3 together, then how we can do that?
Uh, the item two and then
Yes, item 2.
grid column start
Yes, start from 2, right?
two and end at
4.
four. Yeah.
Now if I save this one, yeah, this one is correct, right? So this is one of the example we can able to merge two column together.
Oh,
Okay, now we can do the same thing with a row. So suppose if I want to connect this three row together, or maybe the two row together, 1 and 3. So what we can do for that things, I change these things to item to 1, and instead of column I want to add row, and I will start at from 1, and then the same thing for this one, which is a row, and then it will end at 3. Okay, and then when I save that particular one, you can able to see I just connect two row together and make it one.
oh, okay.
Okay, so that means we'll learn how we can able to create a column, right? Now this is one of the options that we learn. Now there is another way, which is like grid template column, right? So I provide here, which is the auto. That means it take three column. Okay, it takes three column, and all will take the equal space. Okay, so that's why it take three,
Oh, okay, okay.
and all are taking the equal space. Suppose instead of three, if I add another one, and then I save that particular one, you can take see that it takes four column with equal space. That's why it's called auto. Okay, now suppose in exam, maybe instead of auto, they ask you to provide some of the pixel, or maybe some of the measurement they provide to you. So during that time, what we will do, we will add 80 pixel, then we will add 200 pixel, then we will add auto maybe, or maybe you can add, it's up to you, you can add 330 pixel or maybe 10 pixel. So when I will save that particular one, you can see all agree, all of the grid is taking this space based on my requirement. Is it clear how?
Oh, so the first one is for the first column.
Yes, 80 pixel, 200 pixel, 30, and 10 pixel, right? So now you can do the same thing for row as well. Yeah, you want to ask something, Fahim?
If there's more than four or five column, then
Okay, so we can try that particular one as well. So if I add 5, 1, 2, 3, yeah, whatever you will add, it will take this.
okay, okay.
Okay, now I just make it 4. Now you can do the same thing with the grid row. Grid row column. So that one is grid template row. Grid template row. So when it comes to grid template row, you can also use similar like that, because in the row I have only two, right? Because there's another one came up. So maybe I add 200 pixel into 300 pixel, and when I will save, then I will just see it only able to give the result for the first two column, because I didn't add the third one. So third one are not getting any of the requirement. But still, if you want to add the third one requirement, you can, suppose you want to add 100 pixel, and you can able to see that the third one will get the updated one, right? So in this way you can able to resize the size.
Mhm.
Okay, so is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so now, okay, so there is one of the another feature which is a justify content we can use inside the grid. So what does it mean by justify content? So suppose I just remove this one. Give it a bottom. So it will look like this one. Maybe instead of auto, I'm going to add 50 pixel. Okay, so when I add 50 pixel, 50 pixel, or 50 pixel, you can see this is like this, right? So when I use, because justify content have four or three types of features. Okay, so suppose when I add justify content, so whatever the justify content must need to add it inside the container, where, or container, or any of the div which contain all the grid, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why we have to provide the justified content or the template or the display inside the container features. Remember these things. We will not put inside the div, this one, okay? Inside the child.
Okay.
We always have to mention it inside a parents one. So here, if I want to add justify content, and then I will start with the space evenly, right? So when it comes to space evenly, it will give you the space between it evenly. See, it will take
Oh,
the
okay.
middle and provide you a space which is an evenly way. Now there is another one which is called space around. So how the space around works? So when we shift to space around, you can able to see that there is no difference, right? Same thing. So this one is, it is like this. If we add space around, it looks like this. If I add space evenly, it will be a little bit center, right? Compared to space around. Did you see that thing? This one is space evenly. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I change it to space around. Did you see any difference? Again, okay.
Mm,
Space evenly will be a bit center wise. Around will be like this. When you use space between, it will be like this. Inside the between, it will create more space. When you add space around, this around, it will take more space, okay? And when you add evenly,
mm.
it will just create a equal space for both middle and around, both.
What's the difference between them?
What is it? Okay, so suppose if you add space evenly, it will give you the space evenly for both of the boxes, like from the left and right, okay? Left and right. So when it comes to space around, so they particularly mean this space. This one is called around, okay? So when you provide space around, they will take more space to the around. When you add space evenly, during that time they will take more space in between. Okay, is
Mm-hmm.
this one clear, right? Now suppose this is
Yeah.
the space. Now if we add space around, space between, see, when I add space between, it takes space inside.
So there will be more space between the
Yes,
grade.
great, yes. Now space around will take more space from the this side and this side. Okay, now when it comes to
Okay.
space evenly, it will evenly organize all the bricks, right? Now we also have a start. There's that one is called end, center. When you add center, justify content center, it just take all the all the grid to the center. Okay, now we can also use end. It will take you to the end. You can also use start. It will take you to the start.
Uh,
Okay, so this one is applicable only for div, justify content. Now there is one thing which is called align content. So how the align content work? Justify content is only work outside of these boxes, like they will just organize the boxes, right? So when it comes to align content, we will see how the align content will work. Maybe at first I just want to add it center. So when I will add it center, okay, so did you see any difference? No difference, right? No
no.
difference. So no difference. Okay. So now if I use a different type of things, okay, 1 minute.